few hours, President-elect Joe Biden is expected to announce his plans to get Americans vaccinated and provide relief to families and communities struggling economically still because of the pandemic.
Mr. Biden previously said his goal is for 100 million doses to be administered in his first 100 days. And while some are worried that that's overly ambitious, one Georgia health expert is concerned it's not enough. Dr. Carlos Del Rio, professor and associate dean at the Emory University School of Medicine, told CNN this morning the goal needs to be much higher.
I would say that even a million a day, which is what he's proposing, is low. We need to shoot for higher goals. We need to shoot for 2.5 to 3 million people a day. And I know it's going to be hard, but with resources and with ingenuity, we'll be able to do it.
Dr. Del Rio suggested that some innovative ways we can expand distribution include mass vaccination sites and also expanding who can administer the vaccines.
We need to take the task of the doctor or the nurse, and instead of having them immunize, move it down to other people. We need to move it down to medical students, to nursing students, and we need to recruit them and just be open 24/7, work on weekends. And if we do that, we'll get to where we need to get to.
Well, we will be streaming President-elect Biden's address tonight starting at 7:15. You can watch on 11alive.com.